I offer my respectful obeisance to my spiritual master, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who has so kindly opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge, blinded by the darkness of ignorance. So this is Bhagavatam 3:25-20. Speaking like that. So all of us here, I'm guessing that everyone has heard Srila Prabhupada speak before. Someone has not heard Prabhupada speak here before? Everyone's heard? That's good. So we shouldn't be surprised that Prabhupada's cutting the illusion, of material sense enjoyment. Like that. This cutting, this chopping technique or cutting technique is the guru's business, to cut the illusion. So Srila Prabhupada is the expert in doing that, so much so that we're here tonight still taking more cutting. We know we're going to hear from Prabhupada that if he's going to cut down my illusion, still we come back for more. That's a good sign. So we have to know that Prabhupada is not leading us into a ditch, but is leading to the real happiness that we really want, not this illusory happiness. He's leading us forward to the ultimate sense gratification, pleasure, directly associating with Lord Krishna. So we become, he was saying, Prabhupada, that we become entangled. How do we become entangled? Who remembers what Prabhupada said? How we become entangled? What entangled?
Sense enjoyment.
Yeah, sense enjoyment by associating in the modes of nature. So he gave some examples of association. Someone's associating, the alcoholics get together and they associate. What do you call it? AAA or something like that, right? No, it's F. That's also an association. AA is AAA, AA. And you can associate any way you like. But anyhow, this association is what causes us to be bound up in this material world. How we associate. And everyone is associating in three ways: either in the mode of passion, mode of goodness, or the mode of ignorance. And either way, either one of the modes will keep us bound in this material world. So we get another body. So someone will say, what's wrong with another body? But actually, it's the body, this material body, is the cause of all our suffering. If we didn't have a material body, we'd never suffer. So this body which we're thinking is going to give me pleasure is actually the source of all my suffering. This material body, Bob explains in the next lecture on this series here. Our only problem is this body we got, this which we think is so. We look in the mirror, we're looking so nice and like that, but sooner or later it may not appear that way. At one stage, I'm looking very good, feeling very good, but that may not last very long. At least according to the Bhagavad Gita and authorities and experience also, I've seen that these bodies, they may have some appearance looking good for a short time, a moment maybe, and then the real business of this body takes shape of the what do you call it? Dukkha. Who knows what dukkha means?
Sukha, dukkha.
Sukha, dukkha. Happiness and distress. Dukkha, the real business of this body is to suffer. But people may say, how is that possible? Like that. But in due course of time, everyone will learn about these things, that if one is not experiencing the dukkha now, dukkha will certainly come in due course of time. So we should know that, how do we know these things? Because we're under the direction of the most authoritative, most sublime, most adorable person, Srila Prabhupada, who is leading us to the real sukha, the real happiness. Not this material happiness, but to the real eternal pleasure of the soul. So we're not being led to we're denying the material illusion pleasure, but we're being brought to the eternal spiritual pleasure by Prabhupada's divine guidance. He's guiding us to, like, the kirtan started. Everyone noticed the kirtan started. I did. Remember how you felt? But then as the kirtan progressed, didn't you find your senses and mind becoming more absorbed in the deities, you see? So it's like that. You know, at the beginning it may seem like poison, spiritual life. Denying my senses, oh my goodness. What is there left? But when we're guided by the supreme guide, the supreme perfect guide, Srila Prabhupada, he'll guide us so our spiritual senses become engaged and then absorbed, and then the ultimate happiness, eternal happiness, pleasure that has no limit, no bound, and it goes on eternally, ever increasing. The ocean is a great body of water, but it doesn't increase. But the ocean of happiness that Prabhupada is leading us to always increases. The ocean of happiness is always increases. But we have to have a cool head. If we don't have a cool head, then also that ocean of happiness that Prabhupada is leading us to will also be like an illusion. So we have to be cool-headed, not hot-headed, like that. So everything is based on association. So we associate. We have to see, who am I associating with? If I'm associating with materialistic people who enjoy the material body and the senses, like that, then I know that this is my pleasure. This is also my defeat as well. But if we associate with a sadhu, then we're actually molding our character in the spiritual way, or the eternal way, or the transcendental way. We're developing our character spiritually. That means free from material defects, of character defects in the material world. Have you noticed in some relationships, or all relationships, so many defects we all have in relationships with each other? Even good friends, there's some misunderstanding, argument, or fight, disappointment, even murder amongst loved ones, like that. So we don't want that kind of association. We want to associate in a way that there's no inebrities, there's no discomfort in my relationships with anyone, not just my intimate friends or husband or wife or children, but with every living entity. That's possible by divine association. And that divine association comes from His divine grace. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who has showed us, and actually not only showed us, but has carried us, just like He carried us here tonight. We had so many thoughts what to do, maybe go, but Prabhupada was like a tidal wave, and somehow He got us all here, to worshiping Krishna. So that's not possible because 10% of the people, they're out right now enjoying the material senses somewhere else. But somehow, by Prabhupada's power, He got us here worshiping Jagannath. Just see the power of Prabhupada. So it wasn't for Him, no one would know about spiritual senses and spiritual pleasure, eternal pleasure, and that is satisfying, that doesn't bring me unhappiness like that. The happiness I get in this material world, my senses, in one sense, it'll lead me to pleasure, but in the next sense, there'll be a fight, an argument, a killing, an abortion, or something. It'll happen that certainly will be my defeat. So this association is the most important thing. It's called sadhu sangha. Sangha means association. But who am I associated with? We have to judge, who am I associating with? So then I say, well, where are the sadhus? Where are the saints? Like that. Well, you have to look at yourself. Look in the mirror and say that I'm supposed to be a saint. How am I supposed to be a saint? I associate with the supreme saint, or the miracle saint, Srila Prabhupada. So then, well, who else is doing it? I don't know. But the saint is available. Maybe there is not so many associations like that. But this great saint, this miracle saint, he has the power to bring us out of the doldrums of material existence, where like Prabhupada was saying here, no one is caring about eternal life. No one's caring about dying. It's natural to die. No problem, I'll just die. No one cares. I was saying it many times, you heard, right? No one's caring. I'm going to die. No problem, just die. Easy, ABC. But we're not supposed to die. It's as Paul was saying, to die is artificial because we're eternal. Why should I die? Why should I go for this uncomfortable situation of going through life, seeing myself as a young boy enjoying, and then my youth, and then my middle age, and my old age, and looking forward to what? Dying. Is that something to look forward to? There's nothing to look forward to, is it? What if people getting old? Anyone wants to get old? Some people here are aging or old, like my body. I wasn't looking forward to it. I didn't say, oh, this is a great thing. I'm getting old now, and I get all sorts of problems. I didn't like that. I don't like it either now. Very, very uncomfortable. But the thing is, we don't have to go this route. Why is that? Because a great personality has come into our life. Whether we like it, don't like it, appreciate it, don't appreciate it, he's come. He's come into our life. And he's caused a tidal wave in our lives, whether we like it or not. That's Srila Prabhupada. He's disrupted my material life. But is that a bad thing?
No.
Not a bad thing. My material life, what's so wonderful about it anyhow? Like that, I had this going for me, but so many problems all the time. 9 to 5, running here, like that. So, whether we like it or not, appreciate it or not, the tidal wave of Srila Prabhupada has come upon us. Now, what are we going to do about it? Hide and say, okay, I'll just accept death like everybody else. They have to come in contact with such a great personality as Prabhupada. I'm going to just accept death and think, oh, I'm going to die like everyone else. No, why should we be like that? We've been blessed. Everyone has the opportunity to be blessed, but anyone here for sure heard Prabhupada tonight. Everyone had to hear Prabhupada tonight. And he's saying that we should deny our material senses. Oh, deny sense gratification. I'm sure whenever heard that, everyone was, oh no, I deny my sense gratification. But Prabhupada is not such a person who is denying. He came to give us everything, real sense pleasure that is satisfying to the soul. That's what Prabhupada gave. He didn't give us insignificant moment pleasure. He gave us satisfying eternal pleasure. Now it's for us to try to learn how to get it and hold on to it. That's all the thing. So that's what we're trying to learn. That I'm just coming not here tonight just for one moment and then I'm going to leave and forget about everything. No. What can I do for myself, in other words the soul, what can I do to get on top of my self where I don't fall prey to the material senses again? So of course we think that's impossible. But Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, whatever advancement we get, we keep. And whatever we're lacking, He'll give us. So we shouldn't feel disappointed that after this evening's program, I fall back into some kind of sense gratification once again. But we should know that if I've gained something, Krishna is going to keep that for me. And then, if I take it up again, He'll make up for what I lack. So gradually, I'll come to the point where I'm steady in my spiritual pleasure, where I'm not going back into the material so-called sense gratification. So we have to learn the art, and Prabhupada is the one who's teaching the art, how to come from material sense gratification to spiritual sense gratification, which is natural. The material sense gratification only leads us to what?
Dukkha.
Dukkha, suffering. Leads me to so many problems, so much hardship, so many difficulties in relationships, which are always having difficulties in this world. Everyone has difficulty in relationships with one person or another. It's not possible to have a relationship. The reason why we can't have any relationships in this world that are satisfying forever is because we're forgetting the center of relationships. Because I'm doing things for my pleasure, I'm forgetting that actually my existence is meant for Krishna's pleasure. So long as I'm competing with Krishna, how can I have good relationships? It doesn't make any sense once we learn about these things, at least. I'm trying to be the Lord of everything. Meanwhile, Krishna's Lord, He wants everyone to be enjoyed by Him, and I'm trying to be Krishna in this world. It's very difficult to compete with Krishna. Very difficult. Best thing is, as Krishna says, surrender to me, and you'll be happy. So whether we like it or not, we don't like even hearing about it, or we don't even want to do it, but Prabhupada has come into our lives, and he's forcing us, in a very nice way, to go to Krishna for our happiness, our peace of mind, our sanity, our love, our eternal existence, and our original spiritual body. And we're not these bodies, we're spiritual bodies, we're spiritual forms. So this material body is not us at all. We're actually spirit souls. So this will be manifested as we develop our love. So we have to gradually learn the art of satsanga, associating with the sadhu, Srila Prabhupada, and seek out others who are doing the same thing. There are a lot of people who are imitation sadhus, or pretending sadhus, which are making a lot of people unhappy these days. But we have to be wise enough not to fall prey to pretending sadhus, but stay with the real sadhu and only sadhu, Srila Prabhupada. He's sadhu. He sees Krishna. He knows Krishna. He loves Krishna. He's adored by Krishna. Krishna sent him to deliver us. Why are we looking for some foolish person as sadhu, and when we got the real sadhu all the time? So it takes some work, but that's what we're here to do, you know. We have to work at it. I don't want to just be a number and die like everyone else. Now that I come in contact with his knowledge, what I'm going to do? Go back and just say, I'm going to die, it's all right. No, I'm going to fight. If I call myself any kind of person, I'm going to fight for my life. When Prabhupada says it's a fight for eternal life, so why not fight for it? But we're not going to fighting with no weapons. We have so many weapons. Prabhupada has given us incredible weapons. And the greatest weapon we have is himself, Prabhupada. He's such a wonderful personality that just like we're supposed to know the Supreme Personality, Krishna, if we get to know his pet, or like Prabhupada says, the dog of Krishna, the servant of Krishna, if we become attached to the servant of the Lord, attachment to the sadhu, then we're already in with Krishna, because Krishna is most pleased that he, although he's supposed to be worshipped, he appreciates worship of his devotee, his pure devotee, Srila Prabhupada. So we get the hint from Krishna. He says, anyone who says he's my devotee is not my devotee, but anyone who's a devotee of my devotee, he's my devotee. So, and Lord Shiva says that the highest worship is Vishnu, or God. But even higher than that is worship of devotee of Vishnu. So back to Prabhupada again. So it's authorized to go all the way with Prabhupada. Learn about him, hear about him, hear from him, worship him, glorify Him, pay homage to Him. It may sound some kind of like fanaticism, but this fanaticism will give us eternal pleasure, eternal happiness, liberation from this, what we think is wonderful body. And give us awareness that it's not such a wonderful, it's not wonderful, it's a horrible thing. To get a material body, material body means that I'm rebellious to Krishna. No one gets a material body that gets old and dies unless that person rebelled. So if you look around you, you see who doesn't have a material body here. But every one of them, that means every one of us rebelled. We'd like to hear it, believe it or not, that's how we got the material body. If we didn't revolt against Krishna, we never would have had a material body. We'd be back in Goloka Vrindavan of Vaikuntha enjoying. But somehow or other, we rebelled. So we got a material body. Now it's going to change. It's going to get gray and old, and it's going to dwindle and die. And then we got to get another body and go to the next thing. Learn ABC again, go to school again. That's if it's human. So, anybody want to go back in the womb? Anybody want to come out again and go through the whole thing again? Learn 1 and 1 is 2. Come back in some country, another set of example, another family. Forgetting my last life's family. You remember last life's family? How nice it was? Remember Mom and Dad? No one remembers. So anyhow, the emphasis of this class today was satsanga, the association and attachment to the real sadhu, the real saint, and that's Srila Prabhupada. And by staying in association with Prabhupada and his devotees, like that, gradually we'll catch on how to regulate our life in such a way that it's eternal. It takes practice, like here, in this house here. Every day, Balaramji here, he's getting up early in the morning and worshipping the deity very nicely, as you can see, at night as well, taking care of them like that. So this kind of thing develops attachment, you see, for the Lord and His devotee. But we have to know how to do this, and by doing this gradually, my pleasure is with the Lord. How I got this vision, I don't know, but let me take advantage of it and do it. So we should learn how to do it. The books are here, the CDs are here, the devotees who are practicing, although not many in numbers, are here. So if we're interested in this eternal life instead of this illusory temporary life which is full of suffering and a lot of pain, then we just calmly take it. Calmly. Not to have to panic. What am I going to do now? I'm going to get my spiritual life together. Now calmly take it and let Krishna do His work. Chaitadapani, let Him cleanse the heart for us. So, I'll conclude because of the time factor, but the Lord, He calms Himself. He wants us to become free from death. He Himself says in the Bhagavad Gita, and probably, as you all know, repeats this verse so many times, the evils of this birth and death. I'll read you the verse. Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi Dukkha Doshanam Darshanam. It's Bhagavad Gita 13:9, second part. And the definition by the Lord is the perception of the evil of birth, death, old age, and disease. So the Lord is saying that these things are not good. Someone say, oh, birth is wonderful. But He's saying it's not good. He's saying that old age is not a good thing. And disease is not a good thing. And He's saying death is not good either. Nothing is good. Then there are the miseries, the everyday miseries we have. the mental miseries we have, psychological problems. I got a phone call from some devotee, her husband, I don't want to get too much into it, but anyhow, so many problems she had with her husband doing things that are not regular in life. And she's so upset like that. So, then other problems, you hear it yourself. I mean, I can tell you, you can tell me. So many stories. But like that, we don't want these problems to come upon us like that. But they have to come because we're in the material world. As long as we're in the material world, thinking the way we are, that I'm independent, I'm all right, we got to have problems. Everyday problems. And then the 4 basic problems, you got to die again, you got to be born again, you got to get old again, and get diseased again. So now, with the advent, as the Lord comes, He comes Himself to entice us to the spiritual world. Srila Prabhupada is saying, come on home, back to Godhead. Come on home, back to... This is not our home. What kind of home is this here? So many problems. So we want a real home. So that's the eternal world. We get that by associating with the sadhu, Srila Prabhupada. And as I get attached to my family members, I should become attached to Prabhupada. Learn to love him, learn to appreciate him, learn to understand him. Glorify him. Find out about him. There are books about him. He's speaking about himself. We should learn about Prabhupada. For example, Prabhupada had a charter, a nice charter. He came over on the Jaladuta boat. And all the devotees were thinking how they can get that charter from Prabhupada. Everyone said, I'm going to get that charter like that. And one devotee did get it. Sruta Kirti, his personal servant, got it. And he bought Prabhupada another charter. Prabhupada, I get your nice charter. Can I have your other one? So Prabhupada said he didn't want to do it. But Prabhupada was so compassionate that he actually did it. He took the one that Sruta Kirti bought for him, and he gave him his charter. Show how unattached Prabhupada was. He loved that charter. He wore it all the time. But he gave that charter to Sruta Kirti, and Sruta Kirti has that charter on his Murti of Prabhupada now in New Jersey. So there's so many things to learn, all of us, how to develop attachment to Prabhupada. But we have to become attached, not only associate with the sadhu, but become attached. So all these things may seem, how am I going to do all these things? I'm so absorbed and attached in so many things here. But put our trust in God, Krishna, and Prabhupada, and gradually and slowly we cultivate it. We're going to get to that point. You can do it. We all can do it. But with a cool head, calmly executing Krishna consciousness as best we can, especially hearing Prabhupada, reading his books, and satsanga, associating with devotees who are interested in the subject matter, not devotees who are taking anybody as guru. There's only one guru, and that's the sadhu. People say, who's your guru? How can someone be a guru who doesn't realize Krishna? How can someone be guru if they don't know Krishna? How can someone be guru if they cannot deliver you or me or anyone to Krishna's world? That's not a guru.
He's conditioned.
And he's a conditioned soul. He's a fool. So we don't want to take shelter of such gurus, because they're not. We want the real guru. That's intelligence. So it takes some work, but look at the benefit you get. You get such benefit. So, again, we didn't ask for all these things, but by the devotees' good activities in the previous life, somehow or other we became attracted by Prabhupada. And that's our blessing. We should accept it as a blessing. Only. Like that. Somehow I came in contact with a great saint, said, let me do what I got to do. I didn't know about it and asked for it, but it came in my life somehow or other. So we should accept it as an amazing blessing in my life. And we'll appreciate it down the road, of course. But if we're not appreciating it today, tomorrow we will. So by cultivating our hearing propensity is the best thing. hear Prabhupada's lectures, hear his music, chant with associate with other devotees who are like-minded, form an association, and then try our best to do as Prabhupada says, worship the deities, like here, how nice and attractive and colorful. Like that, and then gradually we get attached. Attached to what? To the eternal, not to the temporary. Okay, so the conclusion is that in order to become free from the problems of life, namely the repetition of birth, death, old age, disease, the solution in the Bhagavatam is become associate with a sadhu and become attached to the sadhu. That's actual real association, which gives us benefit. So we should consider these things like that, put them into our head, our hearts, our minds like that, and see how I'm going to get into this thing so I can make my life perfect and not be a loser. I've lost for millions of lives already, dying and being born again and again. So let me this life do something. As lazy as I am, as prone for sense gratification as I am, still let me make this move in this life by becoming attached and associating with the great sadhu, with this miracle saint, Srila Prabhupada. Okay, now don't we have all this literature about Prabhupada, by Prabhupada, and we have tapes, CDs, I think here, everything. Leaflets, like that. And we're trying to get a center in New York, and if anybody is inclined to assist us in getting a center, we'd appreciate that very much. Not we, the whole world I think will appreciate it. It'll be a Prabhupada-oriented center, naturally. Okay? So right now we have a nice feast. Did you offer the halava too?
Yeah, we'll offer it. I will give it 15 minutes give it and then we go.
What's that?
So we have a 15 minutes give it and then we go on.
All right, okay. So we have 15 minutes. Then we have a nice feast. Also, for all of you here have tasted prasadam, but here the prasadam is extra good and delicious, all off the Srila Prabhupada. So we have a nice feast for all the devotees to enjoy the material and the spiritual senses, so everyone will be happy. Okay, so we're going to chant for 15 minutes. You want to chant? Okay. Sure. Hare Krishna. Yeah.